Hi, welcome to Biological and Psychological Views of Delinquency. My name is Trin Poraksa, criminologist. This lecture will explain why biology and psychology caused the crime which committed by youth offender. First of all, biological explanations of deviance have focused on physical appearance, genetics and inheritance, and biosocial factors related to how individuals respond to and in turn shape their surrounding environment. The implications of biological explanation of deviance of juvenile justice are briefly considered before the author to an examination of the major psychological theories of deviance, which tend to focus on treating individuals who have already become deviant rather than on preventing deviance. While psychological explanation includes psychoanalytic theories in the tradition of Freud and developmental theories such as Kohlberg's model of moral development. Finally, the intersection of personality, mental deficiency, and delinquency is explored. Implications of the psychological explanations of deviance for juvenile justice are considered. So, we will talk about this for this class. Here is something about me as a speaker. I am a former police officer. I work for Metropolitan Police Bureau Training. My division is Protection and Crowd Control Division. My bachelor degree is Sociology and Anthropology, Social Research from Thammasat University. My master degree is from Portsmouth University, United Kingdom. I study criminology and criminal justice. And I got special certificate on Introduction to Psychology from Yale University, United States of America. And also I graduate from Political Science on Criminology and Criminal Administration from Chulalongkorn University. So, here is your speaker for today. Let's start with the first picture. In this picture, what do you guys see? The happiness or the painful? This example is a great example to explain about human emotional and physical appearance. We, as a human, thought we can control all over our body, but actually, we can control just small part of it. And sometimes what we feel is not what exactly we want to express. Like a boy in this picture, he laughs while he feels pain. Next picture. This picture is the fairest example of being happy. If we compare a boy on the previous slide, he laughed while his friend tickled him. But in this picture, this man who was tied, getting tortured by tickling. Believe it or not, tickle is a capital penalty from Han Dynasty. Then you should think about it when you play with your friends. Also, a tickle is not only happen in the Asia continent. It also happen in Rome and other European continents. But in Europe, and Rome, it's a bit different. They will put salt and milk on someone's feet, and then they let the goat lick your feet. It's kinda weird, right? But it's happened. This odd thing is also happened when World War II. Nazi used this way to torture their victim. So let's test how well do you know you. This simple question could lead to an amazing result, and that result will show you how little you know your true self. And if you have a spare time, you can start with this brain warming up. We will start writing down your name and your surname by using your other hand. If you are a right-hand person, you should switch it and start using your left hand to write. You could try to spell your name by starting with the last letter until the first letter which you usually start with. That previous fun taste will answer yourself now. Do you think you can control all over your body? Think again. We have an amazing system in our body. We call ANS. This is abbreviation of automatic nervous system. It regulates certain body processes such as blood pressure and the rate of breathing. This system works automatically without a person's conscious effort. If you guys are interested, you can find another controlling test by internet. And of course, this amazing system will help you understanding about criminal behavior. Our class today will explain about biology and psychology that caused the crime. So we have to try to understand from inside to outside the criminal. This positive school of theory will explain about human factors. It's different, or you can say it's opposite from classical school. Classical school means to define and explain why criminals commit a crime by using human factors. But this positive school will explain by using the social factors such as lifestyle, attitudes and beliefs, education, social mobility, demographic, ethics and religions, historical issues, and cross-culture communications. This person is a father of criminology. He wasn't the first person that studied crime, but he was the first person that used and bring scientists, new scientists and experiment to combine with sociology, and we call it positive school of criminology. He was the first person that tried to use scientists and empirical research to explain about social and crime. He was the first person who contributed the origins of trade theory. The school of thought is generally believed to have originated with the Italian physician. His name is Cesare Lombroso. We call him father of criminology. Criminal atavism is the most famous theory of him. Theory of born criminal dominated thinking about criminal behavior in the late 19th century and early 20th century, believing essentially that criminality was inherited and that criminals could be identified by physical attributes such as hawk-like noses and bloodshot eyes. He was one of the first people in history to use scientific methods to study crime. He was an Italian doctor who did research and wrote on a variety of topics. For example, mental diseases, scientific ways to study corpses, and brain pathology. But the most important work, and certainly the work that he is best known for today, is the book called The Criminal Man. His paper first published in 1876. Lombroso developed his theory of criminal anthropology to explain why people commit crime. His theory suggests that there are basic differences between offenders and non-offenders. More specifically, according to Lombroso, born criminals have certain physical characteristics or abnormalities that make them different. Next, Francis Galton. He interested in eugenics topics. He describes the science of improving the human race through better breeding, an inherited substance in the blood called germ plasma that is present at conception determines all of an individual's mental, moral, and physical characteristics. Trait theory consists of biosocial and psychological views. From contemporary trait theory, delinquency research focused on social factors. This theory argues that a combination of personal traits and environmental factors lead to behavior patterns. But today's trait theory focused on biosocial theory. Delinquency can be found in a child's physical or biological makeup. Persona is an original word, personality. What is personality? The persona is the mask we wear. The word persona comes from the Greek word for the large masks that early Greek actors would use to portray their characters. The persona is the marks or role that a person plays in society. While it gives information, it can be used to hide the ego. Personality can be defined as something that makes us what we are and also that which makes us different from others. Ideally, personality is stable over time. Examinations of the relationship between personality and crime have often yielded inconsistent results. One of the most well-known theories of personality used to examine this relationship is the Big Five model of personality. This model suggests that 5 domains account for individual differences in personality. 1. Neuroticism. 2. Extraversion. 3. Openness. 4. Agreeableness. And 5. Conscientiousness. Neuroticism involves emotional stability. Individuals who score high on this domain often demonstrate anger and sadness and have irrational ideas, uncontrollable impulse, and anxiety. In contrast, persons who score low on neuroticism are often described by others as even-tempered, calm, and relaxed. Well, now we will talk about lying. Why we lie? We all lie, but not all the lies are the same. People lie and tell the truth to achieve a goal. We lie if honesty will not work, says the researcher Tim Levine. Do you agree with me? Your parents is the first person in your life to teach you indirectly how to lie. They don't even know themselves. Let's think about it. Who taught us to lie? How many times have parents told their kids, "Look at me in the eye, and then tell me what you did"? A child has to start lying when they want to express what their parents don't want. These are three areas of biosocial theories: biochemical factors, neurological functions, genetic history. Other than that, alcohol abuse or environment can cause the children's behavior. This picture will show you a human brain compared of animal brain. As you can see on your left, this is a human brain when you're 22 weeks brain. It obviously has less fold. The brain freckles will be more when you get older. Next is neurological dysfunction. This neurological dysfunction, such as minimal brain dysfunction, teenage brains, ADHD, learning disabilities, or arousal theory. These are symptoms of ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorders. Another interesting thing is RHR, or we can say is resting heart rate. The heart rate shows the number of heartbeats per minute. The normal values may change depends on the age, so they could be 60 to 140 per minute. As you can see, if you have low resting heart rate, maybe it can cause the delinquency. Low resting heart rate is more commonly found in boys than girls. Next, we will talk about genetic influences. Genetic factors, an important source of influence, implicate in a variety of mental disorders such as schizophrenia, depression, and anxiety disorders, may play a role in predisposing certain individuals to criminal behaviors. A genetic background positive for criminal behaviors or mental illness, however, doesn't mean that the individual will develop the disorder later in life. In fact, most individuals who have a criminal biological parent do not become a criminal. What we are starting is that certain individuals, due to genetic and or environmental markers, have an elevated risk of becoming criminal. Next, psychological theories of delinquency. One study of incarcerated youths found that at least 88% of males and 92% of females had a psychiatric disorder. Let's move to the psychoanalysis theory, or we can use another name, psychoanalysis or psychodynamic theory of Sigmund Freud. Psychoanalysis is defined as a set of psychological theories that therapeutic methods which have their origin in the work and theories of Sigmund Freud. The primary assumption of psychoanalysis is the belief that all people possess unconscious thoughts, feelings, desires, and memories. And Freud explained personality consists of three major components: ID or it, ego, and superego. First one, it, meeting basic needs. The it is the most basic part of the personality. It also represents our most animalistic urges, like the desire for food and sex. The ID or it seeks instant gratification for our wants and needs. If these needs or wants are not met, a person can become tense, anxious, or angry. Second, ego. Ego dealing with reality. The ego deals with reality, trying to meet the desires of the it in a way that is socially acceptable in the world. This may mean delaying gratification and helping to get rid of the tension that it feels. If a desire is not met right away, the ego recognizes that other people have needs and wants too, and being selfish isn't good in the long run. The last one, superego. It's adding morals. The superego develops last, and it's based on morals and judgments about right and wrong. Even though the superego and the ego may reach the same decision about something, the superego's reason for that decision is based more on moral values, while the ego's decision is based more on what others will think or what the consequences of an action could be on the individual. We can summarize all the characters by this picture. So, let's move to human instinct or survival response. Our survival response consists of 3 F. First F is freeze, when we want to hide from dangerousness. Second F is fight, when our survival response is to attack. The last F is flight, when our survival response is to escape. The flight, fight, and freeze response is the body's automatic built-in system designed to protect us from threat or danger. For example, when you hear the words "look out," you may be surprised to find how fast you can move, and thankfully so, as you narrowly miss a flying pork sailing through your kitchen window. Or when you see a bear on the trail up ahead, you stop and remain quiet and still until it moves on. In both scenarios, your system demonstrates its effectiveness at protecting you from danger. Behavioral theory concerns the study of observable behavior rather than unconscious process, focus on particular stimuli and responses to them. Similarly, like Albert Bandura argues that learning and experiences coupled with values and expectations to determine behavior. In his social learning theory, Bandura suggests that children learn by modeling and imitating others. For example, children learn to be aggressive from their life experience and learn aggression in different ways. For instance, by seeing parents argue, watching their friends fight, viewing violence on television and in movies, also listening to violent music. What children learn is that aggression is sometimes acceptable and can produce the desired outcome. The ideas of Skinner and Bandura would later be adopted by sociologists. Let's go to the second one, cognitive theory. Before we get into cognitive theories of crime, let's first define the word cognitive itself. Cognitive is defined as an ability to process information. Cognition has to do with one's ability to learn information quickly, memorize, and understand information they received. Therefore, cognitive theories of crime fall under the psychological theories of criminal behavior. It is very important for you to know that there are many different theories out there that attempt to explain criminal behavior, and these are just two of them. Personality and delinquency. Psychopathic personality. The purpose of this topic has been to examine the relation between psychopathic personality and the tendency towards crime, and to indicate how the concept of psychopathic personality stands solely in need of clearer, sharper, more rational definition than this currently given to it. This holds true not only with regard to the psychopath, but also, as has been likewise suggested, with regard to the classification of personality in general, though it may well be that mathematical precision is never to be attained in the sphere of personality study. Yet, surely the loose terminology which so often prevails today in supposedly scientific quarters can, on no grounds whatsoever, be justified. This slide, we will talk about intelligence and delinquency. So we will talk about these two theories, nature and nurture. So we can talk about this as another word. Talk about genes and environmental. The first one, nature, refers to all of the genes and hereditary factors that influence who we are, from our physical appearance to our personality characteristics. While the second one, nurture, refers to all the environmental variables that impact who we are, including our early childhood experiences, how we were raised, our social relationships, and our surrounding culture. This is the prevention of delinquency. Prevention efforts should be directed at strengthening a youth's home life and relationships. You can find out about another programs on internet, such as PEIP, one of the best known home visitation programs. They will take a good care of mother's young age, single parent status or poverty, pregnancy or infancy nurse, The nurses carried out three major activities, such as parent education regarding influences on fetal and infant development, and regarding the mother's own education, employment, and family planning. Second, the involvement of family members and friends in the pregnancy, birth, and early care of the child. And the last one, the linkage of family members with other health and human services. The nurses emphasized the importance of establishing a caring and supportive relationship with the mother and her family, building upon parents' strength, promoting parental control over their life circumstances, and also adapting the educational content of the program to the individual needs of the family. And the last one is rehabilitation methods include psychological counseling or prescribed psychotropic medications.